Hello, everyone. This is a new live. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good Wednesday. This is the new Facebook Live editor, and I'm just learning how to use it as we go through this. I kept the old one for as long as I could, but I guess they've discontinued it. So, all right. How is everyone doing? How was all the um, how's everyone holding up with the coronavirus? Oh, people doing with that kind of stuff. I'm going to switch my position so those windows aren't behind me. That's better. So, yes, this is meant to talk about intermittent fasting and its benefits, but I want to fit this into a larger scheme. I want to fit this into, fit this into the, a larger framework, if you will. I'm going to fit this into what we can do to make ourselves healthier, to essentially future-proof our health, and make this, so that we become the worst virus host possible by improving our health. For too long, really the overwhelming conventional paradigm has been that we get chronic diseases and we manage them. Hello, Nancy. We manage those conventional medical illnesses, and then what happens? More illnesses pop up. You have multiple chronic medical illnesses, and that leads us into a vulnerable state, a state where a health crisis can make us critically ill or even die. So we want to start focusing on how we can future-proof our health, meaning that the things we start doing today, that we start doing right now, can make us better for our health better for the future, make us less vulnerable to whatever challenge is going to come along, because there are always going to be challenges. I've heard talk of, when is the current coronavirus going to end? We're all wondering that. But, this crisis may pass, this acute crisis, but there is, whether there's going to be more waves of the coronavirus or there is going to be something else that comes along to challenge our health, we don't know. So that's why, becoming hashtag the worst virus host possible, or hashtag future-proof your health is so important, because we want to have resilience. We want to be able to face whatever health challenges they are. We need to get our body in the best possible shape that we can. And I'm not just talking about, that we need to, that we focus exclusively on exercise, not that kind of shape. It is important that we focus on activity, keeping our bodies moving. But, health is so much more than that. It is so much more than just exercising and activity. Hello, Caitlin. Nice to see you. Hello, Charlie. Thanks for the e-hug. Appreciate it. Hope everyone is doing well. So we want to, um, optimize our activity, optimize our diet, um, you know, learn increasingly better ways of coping with stress. So we can deal with that. Again, having more resilience. It's like having money in the bank when um, the hard times come. You have something to draw upon. Um, so you know we need to get our health reserves up so that we can, um, when the hard times come, we have something to draw upon. Uh, you know, it. I'll get to intermittent fasting in a minute, but it's again eating the optimal, eating a good diet that helps to improve your health. It's eating, I mentioned activity. It's doing things like yoga or tai chi. It's doing things that move your body. Taking a walk during this time. Um, if you're able to get outside safely. If not, it's finding some kind of exercise routine you can do right in your house. Um, we don't just have to sit around and take it. You know, um, a lot of people are very anxious, and that is understandable that people are anxious about this. Um, but now is the time to seek good guidance and to get disciplined so that we can have a purpose and a passion to improve health. Um, so, you know, right now we can't do things like chiropractic and acupuncture for most people, but those modalities will come back online again, and we'll need to be ready to do that. Um, you know, so any questions about any of that, about that philosophical framework that we can hopefully adopt? Again, future proofing your health. Uh, don't panic. Uh, have purpose to improve your health, um, and yeah, build your resilience. Put that health money in the bank so you can draw out when you need it. I mean, that's what we feel like we do at Princeton Integrative Health. We help people to improve their health, to increase their resilience, put that health currency in the bank for when they need it. Um, so Charlie from Hopewell saying that she has a friend, Monica Freund, who does, I'm sure I'm going to butcher this, Jin Shin Jiu-Jitsu. She's a practitioner of that and offering free classes each week. She's going to put the contact in, and when this video gets posted, you'll be able to see that. It's Monica Freund at gmail.com. So I urge everybody to check that out. Sounds like it could be very interesting. I'm going to check it out to see what it's about. Um, always, always up for something new, something interesting, and anything to help our stress and help move our body. See, I'm being told it's like acupuncture but with hands. So uh, we could all that could help all of us. Okay, so wanted to mention intermittent fasting. You know, that really was what the topic was about, though it falls into the larger topic of improving our health, improving our resiliency, shifting the paradigm. So, intermittent fasting, um, you know, when we are referring to that, how we use it is let's see, how we use intermittent fasting is that, we're talking about a 12 to 16-hour fast between eating. There are certainly longer fasts, and other people might use intermittent fasting in different ways. But, you know, for what we are primarily doing in our practice is that 12 to 16-hour fast. Um, Especially when you start getting to like 13 hours up to that 16-hour mark. When you get to that 12 to 13-hour mark, what you start doing is you finally have given your body enough time to kind of burn all the stuff that you've consumed in your system. And then it starts pulling um, fat and carbohydrates out of the liver to burn for energy. Well, that's great because the liver is our major detoxifying organ. It's not meant to be a storage organ, for the most part. It does should have limited stores of glycogen for when you need it, when you're fasting, to help stabilize that. Um, and but um, in metabolic syndromes, or leading up to metabolic syndromes, what often happens is that with as the primary thing that happens there is our insulin starts to rise, which causes insulin resistance. And as insulin rises, it takes our carbohydrates and sugar, and carbohydrates are turned into sugar, and it takes that to the liver and it stores it there. That's one of the primary storage organs. As we get further and further along into diabetes, then it's stored in many different organs: the kidneys, the eyes, the heart, um, the vascular system. Wherever there's a free space, it starts parking sugar there. But certainly the liver is the probably the primary place initially, and that's why the epidemic of fatty liver. So to help reverse that epidemic, intermittent fasting is one of those tools that you can use, where you fast, you know, probably a minimum should be 12 to 13 hours. And that again starts to, we've burned all the food that we consumed from the previous day, and now it starts to pull it out of the liver. Um, Burn that starts to reduce fatty liver, starts to reverse fatty liver. So that's important. It improves insulin sensitivity. Um, as we move that 13th to 16th hour, um, the cells go into what's called autophagy, where they actually start to remove the quote garbage from the cells, the organelles that might not be quite right, the proteins that are not quite right, and that just tend to accumulate. But once it with this fasting, the body starts to recycle those the things that are not working properly for energy. And so it starts to clear the cells out. The cells start to work better. Um, you know, Again, this goes further along the lines of reducing and reversing fatty liver. So I would say that, um, you know, that's how we are using intermittent fasting. Um, think it's great combining that with a low carbohydrate diet, no processed foods. Certainly enhances that. Um, some people who are more advanced have to go closer to a keto type diet. Therapeutically. but the intermittent fast could be the first step along that pathway. And then if that's not doing it, then gradually reducing the amount of carbohydrates can certainly help hasten that. So I don't know if anybody has questions about that, about intermittent fasting. Um, you know, um, about what I've said so far. Um, the other, you know, as we get to that 16, 17, up to 24 hours, it really starts to boost the immune system. I certainly wouldn't go during this time of the pandemic. I certainly wouldn't recommend anybody do more than 24 hours. I'm even a little hesitant to go much past 16, 17 hours. But I've been doing, you know, pretty typically that 12 to 13 hours, some days up to 16 to 17 hours. And, once you start doing it, you find for a little bit, you find out that it's not quite so bad. So, um, never thought when I was younger I'd be able to do it, but doing it routinely now. So, we can help with that. Um, our metabolic reset plan that Jenna runs helps people with the intermittent fasting and to break those sugar addictions and that kind of thing. You can check out her immune support group. And again, we want to future proof your health. Let's say I was going to give you updated information for contact with for the Jin Shin, www.jsjmonica.com. You'll see it in the comments when I post this. And also, Nancy says you can download the Peloton app for a free 90-day trial for a ton of exercise videos, meditation, etc. So thank you for those comments, Charlie and Erica. That's great. Let's see. I don't see any other questions. Again, so intermittent fasting is one of the tools we can use to future proof your health. Um, let's again, I welcome questions or comments on that. Charlie mentioned that Jenna's group is fantastic. I totally agree. She's got a lot of great information over there, a lot of great support. Um, and so Charlie, everybody good with you in terms of the coronavirus? Nancy, same with you? Oh, your family good? Caitlin has a question about uh, is the is it okay to do intermittent fasting while nursing? I would say that 12-hour time frame would be safe, Caitlin. I don't know. Well, somebody was nursing that would go much beyond that, and I would certainly listen to my body while I was nursing. Um, you know, obviously not me personally listening to my body, but the nursing mother, I would say listen to her body. And if she really starts to get hungry before that 12-hour mark, I would not be a stickler on that. I would certainly eat, um, something good, something clean, a good fat or something. And stay away from processed carbohydrates and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it would be okay to do 12 hours. I guess it would also depend how old the baby was and um, how much nutrition they were getting from nursing and that kind of thing. Um, let's see. Charlie, I'm glad to hear everybody's good your way. Nancy, I'm glad to hear that people are good your way. Hope everybody's good your way, Caitlin. Um, Grace has a question. How often should we do it? Grace, I do it pretty much every day now. Certainly, there are days here and there where I miss the 12-hour mark. Um, but mostly every day I do at least a 12-hour fast to try to get 12 and a half to 13 usually. And there are days that I do it 16, but it's become more a way of life now. Um, but sometimes, it's hard to do in the beginning. Um, um, so that's why sometimes people sign up for our metabolic reset program because it um, helps with a lot of structure and with some supplements to really decrease the hunger um, and allow you to do that 12 to 13-hour fast. Charlie asks, you stop eating at a certain time of day, like nothing after 6 p.m. Certainly, people do that because of our schedule, and we would often work late at the office. Ours is more like 8 p.m., but then we don't eat till usually um, after 9, 10 o'clock the next day. So it just depends. So some people, I tell people to fit it into what feels comfortable with them with their schedule. Um, so if you normally stop eating at 6 p.m., then stop eating at 6 p.m. And then, you'd be good to go at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. If, you know, that might work well for people who work during the day and need to eat, feel like they need to eat early. If you're somebody who is willing to not eat so early, then eating, a little bit later at night. But you're not, the recommendations at night are to give yourself at least 3 hours before you go to sleep. So if you can tell I probably don't go to sleep much before 11 o'clock many nights. So, um, but some nights we try to get to bed. We're starting to get to bed a little bit earlier now, um, and um, so finish eating a little bit earlier, and then we could eat a little bit early the next day, which is a good thing. Yes, Charlie, it is very user friendly. So, um, I think I think we have to keep a certain measure of common sense here and work with people so that you can, I think you get better compliance if you work it into what you're doing rather than trying to fit some rigid structure or discipline. All right. I just want to take a moment also to thank all the people on the front lines in the hospitals, doctors' offices, the EMS, um, the police, the fire people, all those folks. Want to thank them, send prayers and blessings their way. Want to thank all the people who are, in the food service industries and working at grocery stores and coming into contact with people, post office people, everybody who's still providing essential services. So, I want to thank all of them. Let's see, Grace says I go to sleep after midnight, so it's okay to stick breakfast and have a late lunch during fasting. Can we eat or drink? Um, so if you're going to sleep after midnight, I guess I would wonder why you're staying up so late. But if you're going to do that, if that's how you're going to do it, yes. So skip. Is it okay to skip breakfast? Yes, I would say for you, breakfast is just breaking your fast, um, and so you can break your fast whenever. So just depends. It doesn't depend so much after what time you go to bed as to what time you eat. Um, so it's 12 to 13 hours from when you last eat. So if you don't eat, let's say you stop eating at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, you could then eat, have your first meal 11:30, 12 o'clock the next day. And I often do that anyway, especially when I was going to the office. I would I would often not break my fast until lunchtime. I would have coffee in the morning, but would not actually eat any solid food till lunchtime. So I think it's working pretty well. Hope that answered your question, Grace. Thank you so much, Charlie. Thank you. Um, you know, you know, doesn't give much do much good to give a lot of information that people are not able to comply with. So I think we have to work with people and take them where they are. So, um, all right. I think I'm going to end this. Again, I urge everybody to work on future proofing their health and keeping up with us so that we can help you with that and to, you know, improve your immune system, immune support, and improve your overall health resiliency. Shift the paradigm from conventional medicine to integrative medicine, holistic health, and wellness. Okay. I honor you for for spending some time with me. I totally appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. My next planned live will be Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Okay. Plan to see you there. Okay. Take care. Bye bye.